Previously on Ashton Corners, we need a farm, so let's go ahead and start with that, which is $135,860. And just like that, we have less money in our account. Should be this one, I believe, if we sell the bales of the dry alfalfa windrows right there.
Nice.
I had my eyes set on a particular 8010 series, and we have ourselves a folding header. Oh, this thing is going to be a unit. So there we go. We have ourselves set up for alfalfa, just kind of a small setup, and we got ourselves a truck, a trailer, and a skid steer. Now, I'm honestly really impressed. So just like that, we got ourselves about, what is that, about 35 grand or so back into our pocket. 20 grand, we have 88. We're gonna do it. Let's test it out. So far, much better. So 67 grand is what we came down to. Let's go sell that.
I'm aware of the bonds that were created today. When you told me that sure there's a way. The water's so still and my pain has gone away. The air is much cleaner after it rained. Follow my love, the scent that's in spring air. Follow the moon into the sun. There's a call for new beginnings here. Let the sorrow of yester disappear. Let your body be new.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the King May YouTube channel. Today we are back on Ashton Corners trying to answer that question of can we survive creating a large dairy slash pig farm from scratch with only $1 million. This is a continuance of the series. If you have not watched episode 1, where we go through, we purchase the land, we go through kind of the settings that we're using, we got all of our equipment, and we started a little bit of corn harvest and some cutting of hay and alfalfa. If you all missed that video, make sure you go to the channel and check out that video first and then watch this one. It's probably going to make it quite a bit more enjoyable. But today we are continuing on. We're in the old skid steer here, and we got the Ford up and at it. We are trying to get some of these bales loaded up, and as you can see in the top right corner of the screen there, we are back up to about $94,000. We're sitting rather pretty. We started with $1 million, as you all know from the first video, so pretty tight on money, but we're doing okay. We're making some of that money back. Now we do have some updates that I do need to go over. We did some testing with the round baler and found that with this map, aside from having a couple of mod conflicts, which I ended up getting fixed, we had a problem with that small, cheap round baler that we bought. We ended up having to kind of equalize ourselves out from that purchase, so we sold that round baler, and just for testing purposes, we ended up kind of taking a freebie loan to make up for that round baler. So if we look, I kind of had to equalize it out because it was a bit expensive. So we'll have to figure something out in that regards if we kind of need to deduct some more. But so far, we ended up going around and selling our cornstalk bales from the edges of this field. And so far, we've made $8,427. And right now, I'm just loading up the remaining bales. There's about 10, 11 bales left, something like that. We're just going through, loading them up right now. As I ran down here, started up the Ford. We are getting those remaining bales loaded up, though. We're going to get them sold so that we don't have them sticking on the edges of the field, and we're going to continue on with our playthrough series here. Now, if you all are enjoying this series, please make sure you go ahead now. Let me know by tapping that thumbs up button, and of course, if you haven't yet subscribed to the King May community, make sure you go ahead and do that for me right now and turn that notification bell on as well. And I tell you what, as we're loading these bales, it is feeling really good to be back here in the farm sim community in FS25 working on this series and trying to successfully run this farm. I did play Ashton Corners back on FS22, and it was a very enjoyable map to play on even back then. But having it here in 25 with all the new sounds to the map, all the little details, the things that just bring Farming Simulator to life and make it feel like you're doing it in real life is so enjoyable. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna finish loading up these bales. I'm gonna set the camera down for a little bit, and I'm gonna catch up with y'all when we get up to sell the rest of these here bales, and then I'm gonna have to show you all the update to the round baler situation that we ended up doing. We also continued some other testing here with the rake that we purchased that I also wanted to go over and show you all as well, because if you have not downloaded that mod for the rake we bought on the previous episode, you're going to want to go and check it out and download it. I'm going to put a link in the description below, because that rake is unbelievable, you all. It saves you so much time. But we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna catch up with you all once we get these bales loaded up, and we're gonna get the day rolling here. Oh whoa. Good lord, Jandis.
Good lord, Jandis.
All right, we just finished up loading the rest of the bales from the end rows. Now we got those out of the way. We're gonna take these down, get them sold up. We'll have to come back and grab our skid steer in a little bit, but we're gonna get these bales sold, see where we're sitting after getting all these bales. I gotta look at the bale counter again. I want to say it was about 35 round bales, and we did some testing. I didn't really like the 120s. You're gonna see why with the accumulator we ended up snatching up as well, but I ended up going with the 150 meter round bales. They seem to just do quite a bit better, so we're gonna rock 150s. I think that's gonna work great for us with getting our bales done up and get them sold, especially for the size of skid steer we have. I think anything much bigger than that and we're gonna really be struggling to get them loaded. Now coming around the farm, we're gonna go ahead, let's park up right here for right now. We're gonna take a look. We ended up grabbing the John Deere 560M with the 3 bale accumulator on the back. This ended up being a little bit pricey, y'all. This is about 83 grand. We kind of equalized ourselves out from the initial 17,000. We did sell this baler, but just for the simple sake of testing, I kind of had to balance that out. So we're going to have to figure something out here, which I know we're going to end up struggling later anyway. We did outright buy the accumulator. That was about $10,000. And we have worked our way back up. Now this rake, check out the description down below right now. This Farm King rake is amazing. It so far has been working with alfalfa and hay. As you all will see, we ended up getting a little bit of work done off camera here, but it's exceptional because one pass, although it's a little slow, you're going about 9 miles an hour, that one pass is doing both tedding and raking at the same time. So it's saving you from having to do double the work with a tedder to get the field transferred and dried up into hay for both the alfalfa and the grass. So it worked out great. So make sure you guys go and download that now. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get down the road. Let's see what we make here off the rest of these bales. All right, and just like that, we've made ourselves another $3,689 in bales sold, bringing us up to about $97,000, almost $98,000. So honestly, pretty good. We could have stored the bales back at the farm, waited until about January. However, we're also going to have a lot of corn to sell in January, as well as soybeans, which we still need to get that figured out today on what we're going to do with the beans. I would like to get those off the field here as well. It's a small strip, but we need to look into whether or not we're going to get soybeans planted next year and whether or not we want to invest in a header now or just lease one. That's going to kind of be the question here on what we're going to do. All right, getting the skid steer on the trailer. Let's get this over to the hay fields because I'd like to get some baling going here. All right, loaded up, ramps up. Nah, she ain't gonna go anywhere. I'm not worried about straps. We just gotta get across the road here. All right, so we just hopped in the baler. We started going around. We're working on the end rows here on this small field that I started off camera. I wanted to get going on the end rows of this next field. And working with this baler, it's honestly been doing really good with this accumulator, just being able to at least keep the bales semi-stacked up and a lot less traveling around and picking up random bales. They're kind of in groups, which is honestly really nice and working well with the corn stalks on this map as well. So we're going to continue on, but we do have a bit of an issue, and that is, well, we got a soybean field right there that needs to get harvested, and I'd like to get going on that here soon as well, but we did not get a header yet. But if you also watched episode 1, we haven't gotten a planter or tillage equipment either, so we're going to look at that today. Now I think we have some decent sized fields that soybeans might actually play into our favor a bit better, where we might want to just go ahead and purchase that header, a nice small header for our gleaner combine, and we might want to get going on our tillage, but that's going to get a little bit pricey. So we're now looking into a situation of having to get a loan. But I was also looking at the fact of, well, we can make more money selling all of our hay bales and cornstalk bales here this January, but we're going to have crops that we need to sell as well. It's going to be quite a lot to try and do all at the same time. That's kind of where I'm thinking that maybe the best route is going to be just sell the bales now, get everything sold. We don't have to worry about offloading them, storing them, reloading them again, and trying to get them all gone in January to make that higher price. I think we just try and make the money that we can now, get as much in our pocket to try and minimize how much of a loan we end up taking. But realistically, we just need to be able to do fall tillage, and especially with our cornfields, we're probably going to want to have to do a state of plowing just to get that additional boost in the game as far as managing the field, to make sure that our yield is doing as best as it can for next year. So now we're going to have to make a decision if we just get a small little spreader and try to get lime down, but it's going to take us quite a bit, or we can rent out maybe from the co-op a spreader to get our lime down, which would honestly save us a considerable amount of time, as I'm sure it won't be all that expensive, mainly just the cost of the lime itself and then the use of the spreader per acre, which might end up being a little bit cheaper for us to just get lime down, get it done quick, so we can get to plowing our fields here once we are done with harvest. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to finish baling up these end rows here, and then let's go ahead and let's start looking at our next moves for the farm for this fall. All right, running up to the gleaner. We got her all greased up and ready to go for the day this morning. So we're going to get her fired up here, and boy, am I loving the sounds of this gleaner when it's starting up. All right, got the header up. Let's go ahead and get on over to the field. All right, we are just about done with this little strip. This thing did not take us very long to knock out. Now I think we just hop back over to that field we finished up the little end rows on with baling earlier as we shut down the old gleaner N7. I think we hop back over to that other small field. Let's get that knocked out. I also did want to update you all. Across the street there was a tiny little field, and as we pull up the map here, it was field number 15. It actually got separated from 22 off of what used to be field 16 here. Very large field. I would like to purchase up 16 and 6 later on down the road, but with prices on those being as expensive as they are, 62 grand and $265,000, those are rather pricey right now. But old field 15, that was only about 7 grand, so we ended up just snagging that field up, and we got that one harvested up already as well, just for that little additional income of A, bushels of corn, but B, those cornstalk bales. And as we're driving back, you guys can see I did get raking and tedding done, so we have our hay windrows ready to go. We need to get those baled up here too. I think we just get all of our bales sold now, and I think it's going to offset our decisions that we make here, at least for this fall, on what we need that's pressing at the moment to get everything prepared for spring. All right, so just taking a look at our map, we are on the soil composition, and so far, not looking good. We need to do plowing, so we still have to harvest the rest of 12 here, and as you all can see, we got some of our strips already harvested, and what is badly needs plowing. Now, some of this is actually our grass fields, which kind of leads me to maybe it would be a good idea to eventually switch those to alfalfa, because we can get an additional yield boost from plowing those fields up and getting them seeded down, but we would have to buy a seeder as well. So with that, we need to finish harvesting these fields. We are going to need to buy a plow. We're going to need to also do some sort of liming, because as you can see, the fields that we are finishing up are going to start needing lime as well. So with that, we're looking at 97 grand so far. We still have quite a lot of bales that we can sell, although it's not for the most amount of money that we can get from them had we waited until January. I think we just get them sold now, get that money in our account, and then that way in January we're only fighting the snow to get our corn and soybeans sold for the highest price. But well, we need a plow, we know that for sure. We're going to need additional tillage equipment for the spring. The fields that we do plow, which so far is looking like every field, we are going to need some sort of a cultivator to hit it a second time and get it to that seedbed state. And then after that, we get planting done, we're going to need some sort of a roller. So far, I'm seeing we can get a small roller for reasonably cheap. Now, as far as widths, it's looking here about 6 meters on that little single guy there, about 6 meters there, or we can go 12.3 meters, but it is considerably more for $25,000 right there. And we're also in the spring going to be looking at least probably this option here for a sprayer, with getting ourselves a $24,000 best way sprayer. I think that's going to be our best way to go there, with getting pre-emerge down, getting planting done, and getting fertilization taken care of throughout the rest of the year next year. So let's take a look at kind of what we want to do. Now, we could go 5-shank or 7-shank John Deere with the ripper here, but I don't know, that's awfully expensive, where we actually might be able to get away with this. Now, the required horsepower is going to be that 275 horsepower. Our 8410 is in that 270 range. This might be pushing it, but I think we got enough front weight on the tractor that I think we might actually rock this. And you know what? I think we are. We're going to go, there's $32,000 gone, and that brings us down to $64,000. Now, the only other thing that we're looking at for this fall to try and again not take out a loan as much as we possibly can is going to be something for fertilizing, or getting at least lime for sure down before we plow. And wow, these prices are looking rather painful, and this looks painful the most. Even though it's only $2,000, this thing we would be filling endlessly. So I think we're going to hold off on that for just a minute, because we might be able to access something down at the co-op for a little bit cheaper to just use and rent out and just pay for the lime itself. So with that purchase out of the way, we kind of have some things lined up here. We're going to get the gleaner fired up, and let's continue on with some harvest and cracking away at this field. Honestly, I've been very impressed with this Gleaner N7 combine. Even though we're only doing 8 rows at a time, the capacity paired up with this 8-row header has honestly been phenomenal. I can really get some acres done and just kind of keep moving. But from what I've been witnessing so far, for the amount of money we spent on this combine, it has been paying off tremendously. I think it was a great choice for this farm for starting off here. At least for the price range, we got our money's worth. I would definitely argue that. Now, as far as how many years we want to run this thing, well, at some point we're gonna have to worry about efficiency and being able to get more done. But for now, I think the first couple of years this thing is going to work just fine. And keep in mind, if we're gonna want to do cattle, we're gonna have to start worrying about silage anyways, which we can, with the amount of hay fields we have thus far. We can bale up and possibly wrap, but now we're looking at the price of a wrapper in order to get some silage that way from our hay, which is kind of where I'm leaning to. does it really pay? Maybe we keep the hay as the hay, and maybe we just worry about getting a small pull behind chopper in order to do our silage and just utilize those silage bags in regards to that. Now, our grass and alfalfa fields, we should be able to get multiple cuttings per year off of it. Just utilize that between silage and hay. And again, if we buy cattle, we can buy them younger to just focus and give ourselves maybe an additional year of just worrying about hay, and then we can feed our cattle hay to get started and get the ball rolling. But we're going to keep rolling here. We just sectioned off another portion of this field. I'm going to catch up with y'all after we finish this field. And just like that, we are 2 wagons richer of corn. This is honestly going very nice. I'm very impressed, at least from the beginning here. We're taking advantage of the fact that we're just playing this through as you all would just starting off. It's kind of nice getting that additional boost at the beginning, which may or may not make it a bit easier. I'm sure we could make this much more challenging starting in January, where you have to worry about planting first and then somehow getting a combine, but we're going to take advantage of it. This is just a playthrough, but so far the yields have been awfully nice off of the fields that we do have of corn. So if we can get the old 8410 up the hill here. Oh, she is struggling a little bit. Let's get these wagons unloaded and continue on with the day. All right, and just like that, we're sitting pretty. We got one more pass left in this field. Oh no, we got some stranglers. We're gonna have to back up and get those picked up for all my OCD watchers out there. Don't worry, I'm grabbing it. But we got one more pass. We're gonna get this field finished up. We gotta get it baled and try to get that money back into our account here. All right, so with that field wrapped up, taken care of, we're back in the John Deere baler here, and we're gonna get going on this field. As we get the baler turned on here, accumulator ready to go, we're gonna go ahead and get these dry alfalfa windrows all taken care of here and get this baled up. Now, I am a little bit concerned because we're already getting additional expenses that I wasn't quite sure how hard was going to hit us. Now, it shouldn't be too bad, but I am starting to get a little low on round bale nets, and this is a pretty good sized field, as you all can see. This did take a good amount of time yesterday, but we're going to see how far we get with what we have currently as we're unloading our first bale of alfalfa here. And boy, is that bale looking beautiful as ever. I really love the aesthetics of the net wrap here in 25, but we're gonna kind of keep cracking away at this field and see just how far we can get with the netting we do currently have. I'm not sure. I'm doubting that we're going to get through the whole field, as just end rows on our first field there and most of that other small cornfield for doing corn stalks, it's ate quite a bit. And keep in mind, I think I said meters in the beginning of the video, and I do apologize, but 150 centimeter round bales is what we've been doing just for the weight of the bale in our size of skid steer. That size bale seems to be about the top for just getting the bales done and try to minimize how many we're picking up and just get them off the field and get them sold for money. I'm really hoping that all of these bales, just for this first year, not having to keep them, getting them sold and just making that money, it can kind of get us our base that we're looking to get for the rest of our required equipment that we still need to purchase. But with those bigger 150 centimeter bales, it's kind of leaving us in a rough spot because, well, bigger bales means more netting used, and we're already down out of 2 slots on this round baler. We're about halfway through that last roll of netting, and we did check before we started this field, so we're gonna see how far it gets us. And before I get too crazy, we need to go ahead and drop these here bales off. There we go. Okay, get the accumulator tip back up. There we go. We're ready for the next bale. But this is a nice unit. It's expensive though, y'all. It definitely is. And with those bigger bales, let's see how far this netting gets us on this field here. And, well, just like that, At least we made it one time around. Not fun, y'all. We already have ourselves a situation. We're gonna go ahead. Let's shut down the tractor, and we're gonna need to run across the road. Let's grab the truck. We gotta go down. Let's get ourselves a pallet of bale net here. All right. As I hopped in the truck, I called down to the store. Oh, $4,800 later, we got 4 pallets. Hopefully that'll get us through the rest of the year. Just as we're going along here, it's going pretty quick. As we hop off the truck and we get all of our strapping undone here, let's try and load up this netting here. All right, and thank goodness we're buckling up here the round baler. Thankfully, that was the right stuff. All right, good. Okay, good news thus far. Let's go ahead. Let's keep on going with baling here on this field. I got this little mini strip right here we're gonna try and knock out first, just so we get the top section of the field taken care of here. So we're gonna keep on trucking along, but for some reason it seemed like these were starting to go a bit further, so I don't know if these windrows on the ends just kind of got a little light right here, which definitely might have been the case. It was kind of a weird offset transition there between switching our mowers. If you do remember from last episode, we ended up getting that bigger mower where things kind of spread out there, and that very outside row seemed to be baling a lot quicker with the 2 smaller rows that got raked together. So we're gonna see how this field turns out for us with bales, but I think we're gonna have to catch up with y'all on the next episode and let you know how this ends up doing for us, because, well, we're really counting on this field producing some high quality bales, and so far it's looking like it, but we need that money in our account to stay out of debt. And we really need this field to do well and produce a lot of bales. So I'm going to keep trucking along, working on this field, and we're going to call this one a video. But if you did enjoy this series thus far, please go ahead and let me know in that comment section down below. And of course, let me know by tapping that thumbs up button. And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed to the King May community, please go ahead and do that for me now. You're going to want to make sure you turn that notification bell on as well to make sure that every time we upload a new video from this series, you guys can watch it right away and stay up to date on how the progression is going with building our large dairy farm from scratch from $1 million. So far, we're doing okay. We've at least stayed out of debt, but we're gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna catch up with you all in the next video, but in the meantime, thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.